Hi, welcome to another episode of the API Chat. I'm Bruno, and we're here today with Fran Méndez, our lead developer at Hitch. And today we're going to talk about different topics. So we're going to address a more technical topic, specifically asynchronous APIs. So there's a lot of talking around async APIs or event-oriented APIs. But our goal today with this conversation is to go deep into the technical roots of this and really try to understand what exactly is an async API in your opinion.
Yeah, from my point of view, I think an async API is the opposite that we are used to use basically with REST APIs, for instance. We used to do commands or orders to the server, so give me that or do that. With an async API, this whole thing changes. This is like event oriented, as you said. This is more like please inform me about this event, or I want to publish an event.
Mm-hmm.
So other services can get notified of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just do this or that. It's more about publishing what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more like let's say some viewers might be familiar with the publish, subscribe
Exactly.
kind of paradigm. But in this case, I suppose without having specifically a client and a server in place.
Exactly. So the concept of client server, this is more like a synchronous paradigm, because I mean in the client server you always have the client asking the server.
Mm-hmm.
You never have the server asking the client.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally different here with the async APIs. With async APIs, this is what we call service to service or server to server, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever service can start the communication. Basically.
Right.
So it's not always the client is not always the initiator.
Right, and basically instead of making a request like publish request, it's basically everything is driven by messages.
Exactly.
Right, like message oriented.
Exactly. So here, as you said, there is no get, put, post, or like an HTTP, and everything you pass between services are messages. These messages can actually describe whatever you want. It can describe even an action to perform a RPC, so you can have a synchronous like type of communication on top of an asynchronous communication.
Right. So it's more about from all our conversations, it's more about sending a message with some information. And then eventually, because it's asynchronous, right? You never know when it's going to happen. Eventually, something else will process that message, and then eventually publish another message that can be processed again or recovered by something else.
Exactly.
Right.
And the cool thing here is that some services probably sending a message. Like this thing happened, a user signed up, for instance, and you probably have not just one service getting notified, but many services.
Right.
For instance, a common use case is to have a welcome email whenever a user signs up.
Mm-hmm.
So the email service can send an email to the user saying hello, and you might have a metrics service, so it might inform Google Analytics or Intercom or whatever you're using. So as you can see, it's very flexible, and it's not just point-to-point communication. It can be actually point to many points.
Yeah. And it kind of decouples the responsibility of having to deal with the information.
Exactly, unlike the webhooks, for instance.
Right. Very interesting. So how do you see this going forward? So right now there's a few companies using this type of approach. There's a few standards starting to to emerge. Yeah. How do you see the future of async APIs?
Well, right now I think the present first. Let's say this is just starting. This is just people are starting to use it. And the future, the recent future, I think this is going to explode in the next years because of the Internet of Things explosion as well.
Interesting.
Because as you may know, is in Internet of Things you have many distributed devices consuming information and publishing informations like sensors or whatever. And I think basically this is what is going to happen in the next year. It's going to explode. Hopefully we have something ready for the next years.
So in terms of standards, so usually when you talk about Internet of Things, usually companies that have a lot of devices, they try to follow some standards. In terms of standards, I guess that probably I'm thinking about MQTT probably would be a good candidate. It's been around for a while, and it's a good candidate to really follow this paradigm as well.
Absolutely, yeah. There is a new protocol also appearing, which is COAP, is called, which is this is not centralized. This is more peer-to-peer,
right?
It's a bit different, but I think this is also going to be on the scene next year, right?
Nice. Right, very good. So, and if you want to get started with this, how would you what would you recommend to anyone just getting started with async APIs and these new standards and protocols?
Well, just because we're here at Hitch, I want to recommend something that we created here at home,
right?
Which is a Hermes library. I think it's a good way of to get started using Node.js for async APIs. And if you want to get in touch and talk to people, other interested people, you might want to join the Slack channel, Async API Slack channel, and yes.
Otherwise, just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and you'll be hearing from us soon more about async APIs. Thanks, and see you next time.